Hello everybody, this is English for you. Today I'll have my Fazeka students, Kata, Szabolcs, Victoria,
Hi.
Victor.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Fine, thanks.
Great. And Matyi, you are alone today.
I'm alone because
What happened?
Eva is ill.
Oh, bad luck. Bad luck.
Mit mondhatunk neki ilyenkor angolul?
Get well.
Get well.
Yeah.
Get well, Eva.
Okay, good. And today's special guest is Mr. David Hill. David is a teacher trainer, a freelance writer, an author of very serious books, professional books on English teaching, like the visual impact and the learning teaching process. And he has already published 3 books on poetry, these 3 books. Okay? David, a very warm welcome to the program.
Thanks very much.
And you describe someone as a rare bird when you want to emphasize that there are not many people like them. And David is a keen bird watcher. In Britain, are you a rare bird?
Absolutely not. No, everybody's a bird watcher in Britain. It's a very popular hobby.
So why do you think there is this enthusiasm for bird watching?
I think it's perhaps because English people, British people left the countryside a long time ago, and it's perhaps some desire to kind of get back to it.
Sort of compensation?
Yeah, possibly.
All right,
Yeah,
good.
Could be.
And when did you start this bird watching?
Well, the first real kind of event that I have is my parents bought me a bird book when I was 12 years old, but I'd been doing it sort of a bit before then as well.
Okay, and here, if you look at the projector, you can see David in birding gear. So, what do you need for bird watching?
Well, you need a good pair of eyes and a good pair of ears. That's always a good start, and you need to know how to use them as well. It's not just a simple matter of looking. If you go out in the field, as you can see in that photograph, you need clothes which fit in with the surroundings. If you wear something white or something very colourful, the birds will be frightened, and you have you see that the colours of what I'm wearing in that picture fit the plate. This is in Sardinia. I'm watching flamingos there. You need a good pair of binoculars. I've brought mine along.
Good.
These are my binoculars. They cost you about £800 if you want to buy them. They weigh 26 grams, so you can wear them all day, and they are 10 times magnification in a very small binocular. So this kind of binocular is ideal. You need a notebook. Here's one of my notebooks I found. You make notes of what you see, you draw pictures of what you see so that you can identify things later. You need a bird guide. This is a very popular one. You can get this in Hungarian as well as in English. It gives you descriptions and pictures of all of the birds. And then back home, you need all kinds of books. I mean, I've got books that tell you, famous one called Where to Watch Birds in Eastern Europe, tells you where to go. It gives you maps and details of Hungary, Bulgaria and so on, gives you places you can go. You need specific bird guides. Here's the one I took when I went to the West Indies to go bird watching in the Caribbean. You need books about families of birds. This one's about all of the kingfishers in the whole of the world. In Hungary, there's just one species in the world, but if you go around the whole of the world, there are many, many different species, all of them looking different, and this gives you the maps throughout the world. And so you need a library, and you need to read the library and use it as well.
Thank you very much, David. So, as you have already noticed, this program is going to be about birds. If I say birds, what do you have in mind? Kata?
Well, I think, I don't know, sparrows or pigeons.
Yes. Do you have a story with birds or something that happened between a bird and you?
Well, I think it happened 2 or 3 years ago. Me and my family went to very far part of the country. I don't know where exactly. And
was it a national park?
Yes. And there I saw a bustard. Is it called?
David, what's a bustard in Hungarian?
A bustard is tuzok.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
And I was standing there, and the bastard was standing opposite me, and we were looking at each other, but that's all.
That's all you can remember. Thank you very much. And Szabolcs, how about the story?
When I was younger, I used to draw eagles. I really liked eagles. Not other kind of bird, but eagles. I like them.
Good. How many eagles did you draw?
Oh, I didn't count it, but maybe 20 or 30.
Thank you very
I
much.
don't know.
Victoria, birds?
It's flying, because one of my favorite dreams is flying away from my enemies when I was being chased. And it was really, I felt revealed, and I pushed myself from the ground and flew away, but not very high, so that they could still see me, and I was laughing at them. It was really great.
It's a nice feeling.
Very nice.
Right. It's not dangerous at all.
No,
No.
peaceful and great.
Thank you very much for this lovely dream. And Victor?
Once I nearly saved a bird because it fell off our roof, and it was a small squeaker or a young bird, and then I feed him and give him drinks, and then the carpenter who worked at our house came along and saw the bird. He grabbed it, and then the bird's mother smelled the body odor of the carpenter, and it left the little bird.
Well, it's a sad story. It's a very sad story. Okay, if you look carefully in your desk, you will find a couple of word cards. Oh, Marty, have you got a story in connection with the
Yeah,
bird?
I have one.
Okay, okay.
I waited.
Well, I saw your eyes very
No question,
sad
then
and- Okay, so what's the story?
I have a sad story, but that was happy end. I was 7 or 8 years old, and we gave first aid for a pigeon. I don't know the word post pigeon, or it's the same, post pigeon?
Pigeon.
Postagalam.
Yeah,
Pigeon.
pigeon.
Pigeon. And me and my family gave him first aid, and he spent with us a few weeks in the flat.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Good.
You are welcome. I thank you for your question.
Okay, would you hold up your word card, please? And Kata, what's your word?
Beak.
What's a beak? I mean, I'm going to check on the basic vocabulary in connection with birds.
It's the mouth of the bird.
Yes, the mouth of the... It's excellent. Excellent. What about wings?
Wings, well, humans have arms, birds have wings.
And what can birds do with their
They
wings?
fly with their wings.
All right, can you show it a little? Thank you very much. Excellent. Victoria, your...
Mine is the claw. It's the nail of the bird.
Yeah, the curved nail on the toe, right? The claw. Thank you very much.
This
And
is the feather, and the feather is all over the body of the birds, and it's the bird's hair or some kind.
right, you agree with this, David?
Yeah, that's all very reasonable.
Right. So this was very basic vocabulary, but the bird watcher's vocabulary is
Oh, I see. I get
more
difficult.
advanced. So I think it's going to be your bit, because we're going to see a bird on the projector. And David, would you mind coming
sure.
here? Good. And I'm going to show you a couple of words, and I wish you could identify them on the projector. So the first
Okay.
word is this.
The first word is tarsus. Tarsus is the down here. It's this part of the leg of the bird, the bottom part of the leg, just above the foot.
Do you happen to know it in Hungarian?
I'm afraid I don't know. That's a bit
I
beyond me.
do. I
Yes.
think it's called chud.
Oh,
It's a
right.
nice Hungarian word, isn't it? Now, the second word is, would you read it out, please?
Crown. Yes, that's very easy because it's the same in human beings. The crown of your head. So the crown of the bird.
Right.
Which is up here. In this case, it's got a. We'd say it's got a grey crown.
Good. And the next word is this.
Breast, and it's the same again in the humans. The chest of the bird. This part of it is the breast.
Okay, and the last one?
And the last one is the primaries, right? The primaries are these very, very longest feathers. They're the outer feathers of the wing, and they are very important because the length of the primaries very often helps you to identify birds, and also the colour of them. You can see that in this bird, the colour of the primaries is black. And the primaries are in contrast to the other parts of the feathers on the wings, which are the secondaries and the tertials. So there are 3 parts. The wing is divided into 3 parts.
Thank you very much. Would you just stay here
Yeah, sure.
for a while? And the next picture is going to be an A-B page of a guidebook, of a birdwatcher's guidebook, so a 2-page setting. And I think we need a little bit of explanation. So when you open a birdwatcher's guidebook, that's what you can see. David?
Yeah, I mean, a typical guidebook then on the left-hand page or on one of the pages has the descriptions of the birds. It gives you the name of the bird, a brief description which will be a physical description. It will also say any calls that it might make. It'll give you the size of it. And to the left-hand side, there's also a map. And then on the right-hand side, on the facing page, there, as you can see, there are colour illustrations, and these will illustrate important differences. So, for example, if the male is different to the female, if the juvenile is different to the parents, and so on, these kind of details.
Thank you very much. And your last task is going to be a map, which is going to come up pretty soon on the projector. And again, we need an explanation. What are these color codes?
Okay, so you'll see that fundamentally there are 3 colours. There's a yellow part, which for this particular bird is in the north of Europe, a green part which is over Western Europe, over Britain and southern Norway, and also the Netherlands, and then the blue part which happens to be over Spain and in terms of stripes over Hungary. So the green part indicates birds that this species of bird would be present there all the time. So whatever this particular bird is, I don't know what this map is for, but that bird would be there, and you'd find it in the winter and in the summer all year round. Whereas that particular bird would only be in the yellow parts during the summer. So it would be a bird which migrates. And then the blue parts are winter, and so that the birds would migrate in winter. It may well be that the birds migrate from the green parts to the blue parts and from the yellow parts to the green parts.
Thank you very much, David. We learned a lot. Would you please come back and sit down? I've learned a lot from this book. And I've also learned that birds utter basically 2 types of voices. One is called songs, and the other one is called call notes. Got any idea what the difference might be between songs and call notes? Victoria?
I think call notes are special signs that help the birds identify each other, and songs are just for pleasure. Or
just for pleasure. They want, I mean, birds want to enjoy themselves, so they start singing. Any other ideas? No? Let me turn to the specialist. So what is the difference between songs and call notes?
Well, Victoria was quite right about call notes. These are the calls which the birds use to identify where their mate is or where other members of the flock are. However, with the songs, it's not generally thought that animals make noises for pleasure in particular, even the cat purring, although humans interpret that as being pleasure, it's actually not. The bird's song is to show other birds that this is my territory, this is where I live and you keep out. And that's why it carries for such a long way. So at the moment, for example, the blackbirds are very busy singing in all of the parks and gardens in Budapest, and basically they're saying, all other males, out.
Right.
Beautiful song, dark roses.
Right. Thank you very much. And we've learned a lot of words, and we're going to have the bird back on the projector, and using your new words such as tarsus, and the breast and the crown. Kata, would you like to describe this bird?
Okay.
All right.
So this bird has got a grey crown and a spotted breast, maybe, and it's got, well, I don't know, maybe quite long primaries, and its tarsus is yellow.
Good. Thank you very much. It's been excellent.
Yeah,
I mean, she has learned a lot.
Absolutely.
David,
That's
again,
very
what would you say about this bird? How would you describe it?
Yeah, I mean,
don't say the name of it.
No, I won't dream of saying the name of it. Colour, of course, is very important. So we would say that we call this colour chestnut. So you'd say that the back and the main part of the wings are chestnut with black markings on them. We might call these spots. The ones on the breast might actually be called streaks as well, because some of them are rather longer than just spots, and that the breast is white, and then it goes into a light chestnut colour, and then all sorts of other bits which you can't really make out very well there, but the tail in fact is grey, which is very important as well in identifying this species.
Thank you very much. And I think we have a special surprise for you, the voice of this bird, and I would like you to identify whether it is a song or a call note. Okay, so could we have the voice, please?
Comes again. This is typical. Yeah.
Enough?
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you very much. David?
Yeah, in fact, birds of prey do not sing, so it's a very easy answer. Birds of prey have call notes, and this would be either a greeting to a parent, to its partner. So if the female was on the nest and the male was bringing food, then the female might make this noise. And it can also be an alarm call if the bird's upset for any reason, or simply just communication as the birds are flying around.
Thank you very much.
And it's described in the books as ki, 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 ki.
Ki, 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 ki. And if you look at this book cover, you can see a boy and this bird, which is a kestrel. David, what's a kestrel in Hungarian?
A kestrel is vörösvörcse.
Vörösvörcse, exactly. So this is going to be a kestrel. And now we're going to meet this boy. He's a very lonely boy, and his only companion, his only friend is this kestrel. Your task is going to be this. What is the boy doing? Okay? And would you please watch the movement of the kestrel? Would you roll the tape, please? Very beautiful and very poetic. Mochi, what do you think was going on?
I really don't know.
You really don't know. Koto?
Very
Maybe he's
strange.
playing with this bird.
Playing. Szabolcs?
Yes, I think so.
Playing. You, Victoria and Victor?
Yeah, playing or some kind of exercise they did.
David?
That's the right answer, really. It's exercising the bird, because he's trained this bird. He's taken it and he's taught it as a falconer. And what he's doing here is that he's put a little piece of meat onto the piece of cloth that's at the end of that string, and the bird follows it, and the skill is just as the bird gets to it, he moves it away so the bird misses it. And in that way the bird keeps on and on and on trying, and so exercises, because it's kept inside for the rest of the time.
Yes. Thank you. What a strange coincidence. David has a poem, and the title of this poem is Kestrel. And I gave you this poem a couple of days ago so that you have enough time to get familiar with the poem. And this is a very exceptional moment, because the poet is here and he's going to read out his poem. And I'm going to ask you a couple of questions like, how do you think the poem was born? What are the characters? Who are the characters in the poem? And the poet's comments, okay? So just listen to David reading out his poem.
Before I start, it's also rather nice because today is Hungarian Poetry Day as well, so it's kind of appropriate that we should do poetry today too.
See,
so.
it's very famous, it's very popular, everybody knows in the world, like he's from Britain, so it's nice, okay.
Okay, Kestrel. Glancing skywards from the byway, I see a lithe-winged, lilting bird shape move with buoyant wing beats my way, tapering wings and rusty brown back, black-tipped pinions down the flyway. Slight downward glide and then upturning, stands on air, wind-borne wings flailing, glinting eye, bead black and burning, searches and scours the grass below. For powers like his, my body's yearning. Then he turns, in mid-air, stalling, moves away to search new ground. I hear my life in his harsh calling, but I was always far too high, and then not hanging, rather falling.
Thank you very much. In the classroom, we usually analyze poems, but the poet has a no-say chance. But this is going to be different. So I would like David to just sit and mouth clam up, and then after this little analysis, he's going to have his chance to comment on this. So, Victoria, about this poem, how would you start analyzing it? What would you say?
Well, first of all, it's very... It was a detailed description of the bird and the movement so that you can visualize it, and it's very nice. And I could say it was the first part of it, and the second was rather subjective, so you added personal comments to it, or feelings. And then there was something that I couldn't really understand. I've been thinking about it, but this... At first I felt you were a bit envious of the bird because it was flying up so high, and then you said, but I was always far too high, and then it was somehow in contrast. So I have a problem with that.
Thank you very much. Szabolcs, yes, please.
In the first line we can identify the situation. So the poet is standing on the byway, and I think the bird flies above him, and that's why he starts sinking. And he writes down the moving of the bird first from the ground, from that angel. Then we can see here the changing of the point of view when he said glinting eyes and bead black and burning. It's so closely. So
The bird is getting closer. That's what you mean.
And then you can read that searching and scours the grass below. So we feel that we are in the sky and we are looking down.
Interesting. Kata?
Well, I think it's very dynamic because it's full of verbs, and strange because almost all of the verbs so I found that only 4 verbs are in connection with the author and all the others with the bird. So I think he admires that bird. And about these last 2 lines, well, I think it might mean that he tried to fly and he could, but he is not born with the flair or with the talent with flying, so he didn't know the rules and he fell.
Thank you very much. What a nice idea. We have those 4 adjectives here: resigned, envious, self-pitying, and thrilled. How do you think the poet was feeling? So what adjectives would you choose? Szabolcs?
Well, I would go for resigned, but just for the last few lines. For the description, I would say it's rather admiring. So the poet is admiring.
Admiring and thrilled.
Thrilled, yes.
And would you choose envious? My body's yearning.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So over to you, David.
Yeah, you said envious. Yes, I think there is a certain sense of envy, but it's not an envy of flying as such, or wanting to be the bird, or wanting to be able to fly. It's envy of the fact that here is something which is perfect. It's designed to be like that. It does it beautifully. It flies. It hovers. This is the wings flailing. It's able. The thing about the kestrel is it is able to stand still, and in the air, and lower itself down in a very controlled way. So it has perfect control over all of its skills, and I think that's the feeling that I wanted. You know, I wish I could do something that well. So there is envious, I think, is
And what is
right
the
to
answer to
understand.
this question? What does that mean? But I was always far too high.
Well, I mean, the sense that, you know, I always tried too hard, and if you try at something too hard, you don't really succeed very often, and so you fall down.
Right. Nature in your poetry, birds in
Yeah,
your poetry, how
Plenty of
important
those, yeah.
are they?
Very, very. I would say there's at least 10 poems which are specifically about particular birds, and in general, nature informs a lot of what I write, yeah.
Right. I found a very beautiful poem, so if you don't mind, I'm going to read it out. Nothing to add. And I think this is the quintessential of your poetry. I wanted to write today, but when the sun slipped gold in the sycamore leaves, and the silent swan slid on the still misted lake, I had nothing to add. So nature is so perfect that it is really difficult to reinvent it.
Absolutely. Plenty of people have tried. Keats, Shelley, Shakespeare.
And David Hill.
And David A. Hill.
And David
but,
Hill. Okay,
you know,
we
whether
have
we do
those
or not.
5 words on the projector. Blackbird, leather-winged bat, mourning dove, woodpecker, and blue jay. And there's an odd word out, better to say an odd bird out. Which one do you think is the odd bird out? David, over to you. Which is the odd bird
Well,
out?
I think they're going to say
Okay.
which is the odd thing out.
Victoria, please.
Leather-winged bat.
Why?
Ah, because that's a mammal.
Yeah, that's a mammal and not a
And not a
bird.
bird.
Good. Check on your Hungarian. Blackbird,
Fekete Rigo.
dove,
Golom.
woodpecker,
3 words.
okay,
Harkán, Harkai,
horkai,
Fakopanch,
right?
Kule,
Really?
Yes.
And blue jay?
Psycho.
Yes. And a very special surprise for you, because I found out a couple of days ago that David can play the guitar. So it's high time we formed a duo, and it's going to be, his name is Hill, my name is Jilly, or sometimes Jilly. So it's going to be the Hill-Jilly duo, if you like this,
Rather than hillbilly.
rather than hillbilly.
Okay.
Right. And I think that the chorus is going to be very, very easy. I would like you to join in with the chorus. Dow-de-ow-de diddle-dum-dum, dow-de-ow-de diddle-dum-day, dow-de-ow-de diddle-dum-dum, dow-de-ow-de diddle-dum-day. I said the blackbird sitting in a chair, once I courted a lady fair. She was fickle and turned her back, and ever since then I've dressed in black. Dow-de-ow-de diddle-dum-dum, dow-de-ow-de diddle-dum-day, dow-de-ow-de diddle-dum-dum, dow-de-ow-de diddle-dum-day. I said a little leather-winged bat, I'll tell you the reason that I fly by night is because I've lost my heart's delight. Dow-de-ow-de diddle-dum-dum, dow-de-ow-de diddle-dum-day, dow-de-ow-de diddle-dum-dum, dow-de-ow-de diddle-dum-day.